Hey yo, sup all you dudes and dudettes, my name is Gnator84 and I've decided to bring back my cinema-going movie reviews. Sort of. I was thinking about what sort of content I'd be likeliest to watch if this wasn't my own channel, and there's a few movies coming out that I'm quite excited for and guaranteed to seek out reviews for, so I thought I'd put my own opinions of them out there when I get to see them. So, to begin, let's talk about Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Now, when this remake was first announced, I wasn't too pleased. I'm a big fan of movie musicals, and the original West Side Story is probably my favourite from the golden era of them. It's got some wonderful numbers and a great story told with enough grit and style to feel pretty unique amongst its competition at the time. It's a terrific film. So while the idea of Spielberg doing a full-blown musical was pretty cool given the opening of Temple of Doom, redoing a classic that needs little improving wasn't. But I have to admit, the more I saw the trailer in theaters, the more I found myself getting quite excited for it. It looked to have its own sense of energy that looked really great, and different enough from the original to warrant its existence. So, despite my better judgment, I found myself quite looking forward to it, particularly once I saw some glowing reviews. And as I sat there watching the opening sequence play out, I thought to myself, oh man, this is gonna be amazing. My hopes for it from the trailer were confirmed. It had the spirit of the original, but updated enough with its own sense of mood to feel very exciting to watch. I mentioned Temple of Doom earlier, which I actually rewatched the night before, and a quick side note.
What a picture. What a picture.
Good picture, yeah.
And it was quite astonishing to see Spielberg making this movie with the same thrilling energy he lent to films from almost 40 years ago. Every musical number here carries an infectious exuberance through the performances and how they're shot and edited together that shows why I'm such a fan of this genre. A well-performed and presented dance sequence can be as evocative and riveting as any action scene. It helps, of course, that these are fantastic songs to begin with, wonderfully reorchestrated and intriguingly reshuffled and recontextualized here. The example I'll mention is the Cool number. This new version has a different scenario which plays earlier than in the old, and centers it on two characters who aren't involved at all in the original sequence. While I would say the placement and context in the 61 film is much more effective, this newer sequence still really works and highlights that this isn't just a retelling, it's putting its own spin on the story. But speaking of which, I'll admit that when it calms down and focuses more on telling that story, I found myself less engaged with it. This could almost be seen as a compliment to how wonderfully executed the musical part of it is, but one of the things that made the original so good is that both the dancing and the conversations felt equally as interesting. I never felt like I was waiting for one to end so the other could start. They complemented each other perfectly and heightened the emotions of the story. I think a large reason as to why is that the energy is a bit more consistent in the original, while this new one is significantly more standout when in song. And while the basic story is still good, I did get quite antsy when the characters were just talking. And for as much as I appreciate it not following the format set by the original's placements of songs bolstered the storytelling. It flowed much better and thus never got boring. Whether or not this version is more faithful to the play in that regard, I think as a complete whole the 61 film is a more satisfying work overall. I'll admit that when I came out of the cinema I knew I'd liked it quite a bit, but its aforementioned issues meant that I had to sit on it for a while to decide how much I'd liked it. For me, that would come down to what would spring to mind first, those issues, or all the times that I found myself really into it. It's been a few days since I've seen it, and luckily it's the latter. But beyond that, the entire movie is beautifully shot, vivid either for its colours or the lack of them, and it has some really great visual storytelling the original doesn't. Throughout Maria and Tony's big duet, there's always something between them. Even when he climbs up, it's staged so that the stairs are in their way. It's really cleverly done. Most of the main players are great. I'd say Ansel Elgort was the weak link, but better than some people have said. He has a nice enough singing voice, but is noticeably lacking compared to the classically trained Broadway performers who were fantastic. And for all the tweaks that bring the overall experience down, I do have to give Spielberg credit for carving his own mark on this story, and there's many moments that conjure up the same thrill of the original movie with a completely different execution. My biggest compliment I can give this is that it completely justifies existing, and I would happily recommend watching both versions to see how they bring this Romeo and Juliet retelling and these amazing songs to the screen in their own unique ways. I really like it, and I wouldn't mind seeing Spielberg tackle another musical after this. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe to all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in just a couple of days for my next cinema-going review. Goodbye.